My, oh my, if you are a hockey fan, what a game. Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl mount the comeback, and they beat Darcy Kuemper and the Kings. This was unbelievably quick hockey. I'd love to say this was the tag of old-time hockey, but there was nothing old-time about this game. It was speed, and it was speed. Those three guys absolutely crushed it tonight for the Oilers. Unbelievable game from top to bottom by both teams. 53 hits and 48 shots by the Oilers to 44 hits and 41 shots for the LA Kings. This was a walking highlight reel. This game goes to overtime after the Kings get up 3-1 in typical Kings fashion. They use the third line to absolutely crush it. The Fogel, Trevor Moore, Philip Deneau line, which is becoming one of the best third lines in the NHL playoffs. They strike quick with the first two, but then it is Edmonton answering back. And they answer back with their secret weapon, which is Corey Perry. Corey Perry has just been fantastic for this team. But Kevin Fiala strikes a dagger into the heart of Oiler Nation, making it 3-1 instantaneously. And it almost feels like this game is slipping away and that they would be the third team on Sunday, Bloody Sunday, from Canada to lose and go down in a series. But it was not to be, because Evan Bouchard, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl net the next two. We get into overtime, and what an absolutely incredible overtime it was. No penalties called. No penalties called. No penalties called. And you know what? If you're an LA Kings fan, or you're the LA Kings, or anyone in the league, you're going to think it's a little bit of a crybaby. I'm obviously not a homer. You've all heard my opinion on the Oilers before, tongue in cheek. McDavid doesn't get enough calls. This guy is so fast, so out there, so electric that things happen to him that any other player in the league would be called for, but they don't get called. And you know what? Who cares? It's the playoffs. Suck it up, Buttercup. Some penalties are called, some aren't. You almost know in the playoffs, there's only one call that's going to be called, and it's an errant tripping call. That's the only thing they ever seem to call, because they have to call it, which is wild because every other play and penalty is obviously there. Anyone can see it, but that's just play on. It's playoff hockey. So McDavid gets punched, kicked, hooked, slew-footed. Happens to the Kings too. I am not saying the Oilers are guilt-free here. Both these teams play hard, but it's an errant trip with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in that overtime that takes it to the box. And those just feel like, oh, are you serious? Just gets tangled up in the foot, but you have to call that one. I think you have to call that one anyway. Maybe they can let it go. I don't know. They let a ton go. They finally bury it on their 70th billion chance, and they tie up the series going back to LA. The big question for Edmonton and Oilers Nation and the LA Kings, can they actually do it on the road, though, in LA? Here it is. Watch the front of the net. Corey Perry gets absolutely wholesale tripped. You're not going to get two calls when you're already on a power play. I don't agree with it. I think if it's a penalty, you should call it, but they just don't. You're already on the power play. They're not giving you another one. You can basically get away with murder at this point in time. It is very hard to get a 5-on-3. This is what is called waiting for the best shot and not just taking a shot. So they end up playing 3-man overload down low, Perry, Draisaitl, McDavid. McDavid's going to do his thing. He's going to open up and he's going to wait here. I apologize. Draisaitl is going to do his thing and he's going to wait for this lane to open up to find the Nuge. The Nuge is instantaneously going to wait and bump it right back over to Connor McDavid, who is then going to find the open man in front of the net. And it's Leon Draisaitl, after Corey Perry couldn't put it in, that finally shelfs it for the Oilers. Moore, Deneau, and Fogel. Great job here. On the puck, we're on a 2-1-2. We're trying to push this puck over here to the far corner. The whole point of a 2-1-2, cause a turnover and put it into the back of the net. As Moore forces that puck, it gets wrapped around the net by Darnell Nurse. I don't love that play, but I like it a lot better than I like reversing the puck back to his partner there, Bouchard. And just a great little jump play there keeps that puck in. It's Draisaitl who goes in to pick up that puck, but it is Philip Deneau on the takeaway, and there's no surprise there. He's an absolute killer when it comes to taking away pucks from elite players. He's made a whole career off of that. As he takes up that puck, Trevor Moore is going to break out, pick up the puck, and this is just a sharp angle shot. I mean, that shouldn't go in, but it does. And it's 1-0 LA off an absolutely fantastic forecheck. And that's both the unfortunate luck of the Oilers, but the absolute grit and determination of line 3 of the Kings. What an acquisition Warren Foegele was to this line from the Edmonton Oilers. He understands their tendencies very well. He had an excellent game at breaking down this team, and Trevor Moore almost feels like he's been an Oiler killer since the series has started, putting in critical goals. And the return of Phillip Danault to his, I don't know if you want to call it heyday with Montreal, but he looks like the dominant shutdown forward that we all remember. Controversial one, but not to the referees of the LA Kings here. The puck is turned over, bang, right at the blue line, and you're going to see Warren Foegele pick up that puck. As Foegele picks it up, he ends up putting it in on Bouchard, and then here is the zoom in that everybody's talking about. He pushes the pad of Bouchard and smashes it in the back of the net. Now, there's obviously a whole bunch of opinions about that, but there's that push. He ends up moving the goalie completely out of the way, and the goalie has the right to the puck. But for the first time in the history of first times, I really think the panel in the intermission, at least in the Canadian broadcast, nailed this one. Elliot Friedman explained it, that they want goals in the NHL, that 10 out of 10 times they are not going to call this one back. I would have probably challenged it, but he makes a very good case on the panel as to why they wouldn't challenge it. The LA video coach understands this quite well. He obviously didn't tell the head coach to go down there and throw the challenge. And whether or not we as fans like this or don't like this or think it's part of the game, the NHL seems a little bit settled on this in terms of whether or not they're going to take this one back. So the point of the play that they made on the panel, for the Americans that didn't get to see it, was the very simple point that if the puck is loose and you're making a play on the puck, regardless of if you bump or move a goaltender out of the way, they're going to allow that to count and they're going to allow it to play. This is just a way to drive offense. I can't validate that. I don't work for the league. But if this ends up being true, then that's why there was no challenge created. So it can stand, it can be controversial, it can be whatever it'll be. But at the end of the day, it's a goal by the former Oiler, Foegele. Great play, tough break for the goalie, tough break for the Oilers. Now, the second piece, I don't know if you noticed on there, but Bouchard was out for both of those goals, but he would have a heck of a game, would he not? He would also be out there and generate the 2 goals that threw this game into overtime. The simple fact of the matter is, Bouchard, Draisaitl, and McDavid, again, Bieksa nailing it. I love listening to Kevin Bieksa on the Canadian side. I'm sorry, American friends, if you don't get him. But he's quite simple. Edmonton has to win this game. I agree with him fully. You do not take any of those 3 out. You run them ragged into the ground. You let your stars go. Seems like they've been on the ice for every important play. The reality is, because they have been. Finally, a break here for the Edmonton Oilers. It moves over to Draisaitl, and who is it? Corey Perry, the best pest in the NHL. He tries that tricky backhand that we've seen through the playoffs many times. He almost has a great save here by Darcy Kuemper, but just watch his hands. Bats it out of the air twice to himself and puts it in the back of the net. Here's a better angle of it. There's the puck right there in the middle. Just watch what Perry is able to do with his own backhand and rebound. Bang. The former 50 goal scorer is on fire. He's always an absolute threat in the playoffs. He's a threat for any team. I can't believe he's still being able to be signed for the low deals. What a pickup by the Oilers. A magic man, a utility man, and now a gadget man to have on your team. This guy can really do everything. Set play off a zone face-off win. The LA Kings doing to Edmonton what Edmonton does to them. Edmonton wins the draw. Defender gets out to the point. As he gets out to the point, he goes to create that turnover. Bouchard with the fancy little move. It doesn't work. They end up picking it up. As soon as that puck is turned over, you can see him. Gotta go. I know this is going to be turned over and I can catch people. And it's frankly Darnell Nurse here. He's the guy that needs to get back. He needs to be able to seal this, but he's going to make a bit of a hesitation. He's not in a position to get a puck. He doesn't know if he should go get the puck or back up. He's going to decide to back up here, and that's going to be their undoing. He's just unable to keep up with the speed. It's a fancy little puck flip here up to the middle, and why I said it's the LA Kings doing their best Edmonton Oilers impersonation. This really isn't in the Kings playbook, but they are playing with speed. They are playing to win. They are playing different than they have over the past years. This spring's a breakaway. There should be a chance for the goalie here, but breakaways are always 50-50, and Fiala ends up burying it. And that makes it feel like this game is going to be out of reach. It's 3-1. It quiets Rogers Place. But if there's one thing Edmonton is good at, it's pushback. Unlike the Winnipeg Jets today, the Edmonton Oilers understand how to push back in a series and push through goaltending that may or may not win you a game. They find ways to do it with their big three. They find ways to fight, claw, and stay in the game. And that is the hallmark of a great team. If you are a Kings fan, the last 2 minutes of this period must have felt absolutely psychotic. There were a million chances and a million more blocked by the LA Kings. However, like we've seen a million times before, they get their puck out to their stud defenseman in Bouchard. He has nothing but bodies in front of him at this point. And one of two things happens when there's bodies. That puck gets blocked or the puck gets through. Bouchard steps in, chooses not to shoot, quick little angle change down to Draisaitl. But it's going to be Draisaitl who knows to give it right back. And that's just enough. You can see it. Just enough to pull Darcy Kuemper away. He goes down onto his knees for a quick second. And that angle change means everything. It clears the junk out of the front of the net just enough to get a lane for Bouchard to wind up. He does. He buries his second one for the Oilers. And it's Bouchard, Draisaitl, and McDavid that force the overtime. And like I've said, Bouchard has been on for every single goal for and against at this point. That kid just doesn't come off the ice. So that's the game. It's 2-2. It's best of three. Edmonton used that amazing Edmonton crowd to be able to generate that one. LA played great both times in Edmonton. They just were unable to come away with the win. The momentum has swung in Edmonton's favor, but Edmonton is going to have to find a way to win in LA. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it. I'm hoping they can do it. This is starting to become very, very exciting hockey, and I will not be disappointed if either one of these teams win. You guys let me know down below in the comments who you think is going to take this series. We'll catch you in the next one.